Then it was Jon Moxley against Konosuke Takeshita in a non-title match with William Regal out on commentary. And it starts off with Moxley going for a pile driver and tries for another one on the edge of the apron that Takeshita blocks and hits Moxley with a released German on the edge of the apron. We go through picture in picture, and during the picture in picture is where Takeshita gets busted open, and we come back, and this guy, whole head is covered in blood, and he fires back, big forearm, and he's just demonstrating just tremendous heart. And you can just see this crowd more and more getting behind Takeshita as he hits a brain buster for a 2 count. He goes for a frog splash, landing on the knees, and Moxley goes for a straight arm bar, and Takeshita gets to the rope, and Arana sends Moxley out, and Takeshita hits a tope con hero while still clutching his arm, selling the arm bar. He hits the frog splash, and dude, this crowd was so behind Takeshita at this point. Moxley kicks out at the very last opportunity. Then there is a Blue Thunder Bomb followed by a paradigm shift from Moxley. He goes to the elbows, and the second attempt at a paradigm shift gets countered, and Takeshita lands a rolling elbow and a bridging German that just looked beautiful for this near fall and led to Regal responding to Excalibur, who noted that Takeshita wrote his graduate thesis on the German suplex, and Regal referencing Yoshihiro Takayama's Everest German. I would love to read this graduate thesis and have it translated.
What did he graduate from? What was his major? And I too would love to know what he would have to say about the German suplex.
I'm sure his university professor was blown away at this breakdown of a German suplex. Maybe his affinity for Karl Gotch. I would love to read this. There are after the German suplex backstory, we get headbutts from Moxley, a paradigm shift, and finally shifts to the bulldog choke and forces Takeshita to tap out at 13 minutes and 14 seconds. And Moxley as well busted open here. So we had both men bleeding a bunch here by the end.
Yeah, Moxley was bleeding at the end. I'm like, what? When did that happen? How did that happen?
I didn't rewind to look at it. I didn't know if like a headbutt caught him or if it was just a strike. But yeah, all of a sudden after he's in the corner after the win, and he's like, it's like a gusher he's got coming down here. So it was like we talked about the opportunity of Takeshita winning this. So that obviously did not happen. But man, Takeshita, every time he is in a position, this guy just hits a home run. And I thought this was no different. What a special talent Takeshita is.
This is a great match. I mean, there was a lot of variety on this show. So like for a lot of people, maybe the main event was their match of the night. My personal preference was for a match like this. I thought it was such a treat for TV. Like you said, John, I think Takeshita's matches on TV are starting to feel like attractions. As much as Jon Moxley matches already feel like attractions, Moxley continues to just, I think, be so completely well-rounded in everything that he does. He's got great promos, of course, but in ring, his intensity is tremendous in his action. The swagger in his body language is great. And the technique in his moves at this point are fantastic as well. But to me, like what stood out the most about this match was Takeshita's, besides his intensity and technique, it was his fantastic babyface fire that was on full display here. And accentuated by the face full of blood against, somebody with a style as aggressive as Jon Moxley's. I thought this match was a better version of a similar dynamic that Mox and Tanahashi were trying to create at Forbidden Door. And why it really didn't work for me, having Mox be the one to do color in that particular match, when it took away from Tanahashi's sympathy. Tonight, I thought was the way that match should have been, and it made for a great performance from Takeshita. Arguably, he's had a lot of great ones already in a very short amount of time on TV here. But this might have been the best one, at least maybe the most prominent. But yeah, I would say maybe this was my favorite. Another important distinction, there is a distinction now for Excalibur between the Death Rider and the Paradigm Shift.
That's right. He was specifying between the two in this match.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the real Forbidden Door, isn't it, John? Jon Moxley's two names for his finisher coming together and coexisting. So the Death Rider is just a regular Paradigm Shift is a regular double arm DDT. The lifting variation is now the Death Rider.
That's right. So, you can see which gear he has to go to late in the match.
Yeah.
So this was tremendous. And You know, with Takeshita, I just think they have something so special in a loaded roster like this. He, to me, has broken through in such a big way.
Well, what exactly is the deal with him though? Like, is he on loan? Is this an excursion?
It's an extended excursion with the note that he was going to be going back for big shows, and he is going back to do the Peter Pan show in August. I don't know if that means he's staying there for any longer or if it's just go back for that big show and come back. But the understanding was like he was coming over here and it was going to be a while that he would be over here in the US, but I don't know what the exact timetable was going to be.
Right. So, but without any sort of like long-term commitment beyond an excursion, like, can we ever expect, Tony Khan to have any incentive to push him beyond occasional losses to, guys like Moxley on TV?
Yeah, I think that it's hard to know when you don't know what the long term is going to be with someone like that. But man, when you've got someone that's riding a hot hand, I think you understand that there may be limitations in beating a John Moxley. That's going to be an issue. But I fully believed in this match that Moxley could have afforded the loss, and you do this at Battle of the Belts, and it would have been a really anticipated rematch. And Moxley beats him, and I don't see how that affects John Moxley in any way.
No, I don't think it would. In the same way that, like, I'm sure Thunder Rosa is going to beat, Miyu Yamashita, and I think it will only like create a worthy story for the both of them. But I think if you're Tony Khan, you're probably arguing whether or not you should be giving that spot to Konosuke Takeshita or somebody else that is going to stick around a bit longer.
Then it becomes a larger question of like when you're bringing somebody over, are you going with like he's been put in a lot of big spots and completely deserves them. But again, if you're looking at he's here for the rest of the year versus another month, well, that's a big difference.
Yeah.